All right, so number 12, 13, 14 will be here. 12, evaluate the expression. So the square root of 144, 144 is actually a perfect square, as is 25. So the square root of 144, we know we can evaluate that directly. That's 12. Square root of 25, we know that as well. That's 5. And 12 plus 5 is 17. I think that's all we have to do for that one. That's it. 13 is connected. So we're trying to simplify these radicals here to determine what we can do. I don't think we can simplify 5 radical 2. But I do think we can simplify 50. I think we can express that 50 as 2 as a product of two factors, where one factor is a perfect square and the other isn't. 50 can be broken down as 25 times 2, right? Square root of 25 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 50. But I can simplify this. I always write my perfect square first, because look what's going to happen here. We know the square root of 25 is 5. We can evaluate that, and radical 2, square root of 2, we'll leave alone. So the reason why we chose a perfect square, why we have to use a perfect square, and the reason why I write it first is that it just flows nicely. That square root of 25 becomes 5. And look at what happens now. 5 times 5, that's 25. And each of these terms has a radical 2 part, so it's like they're like terms. I can add 5 plus 25 and end up with 30 radical 2. 14 follows from that same kind of vein, follows in that same vein. Radical 2x I cannot simplify, so I'll leave that alone. But radical 8x, I can find two factors of 8x, where one factor is a perfect square and the other isn't. That'll be 4 times 2x. And we have this part 2x left over, so I know something's going to happen with that. Let me finish this term before I move on. Square root of 4, we know that's 2. We can evaluate that. Let's continue. 6 times 2 is 12. Radical 2x. That's just my first two terms. I still have this third one to go. So let's work with that one. Can we simplify radical 32x? I believe so. 16 times 2, x. You might say 4 times 8x, but that 4 is not the largest perfect square factor. You want to try to get the largest perfect square factor, or else you have to simplify again at the end, which is no fun for anybody. Square root of 16, that's 4. We know that. 2 times 4 is 8, and we're left with radical 2x. Now, just like in problem 13, where radical 2, we added those two terms together, each of these three terms has a radical 2x. Keep in mind this first term is like 1 radical 2x. So 1 radical 2x plus 12 radical 2x, that's 13 radical 2x. Minus 8 radical 2x. 13 minus 8 is 5 radical 2x. Now don't fall into the trap of forgetting this term here. Forgetting this is a 1 radical 2x. Alright, don't forget about this one.